Hello, and be welcome to the world of darkness. Long ago was it that the sin of Cain spawned the cursed horror that stalks the street at night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against one another in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
Allow me to set the scene. It is the streets of London, 1888. Edmund, you rock slightly as the carriage makes a corner, leading you around one of the roads of London's streets. Clop of the horse's hooves becoming something of a background noise. You hardly recognize it any further, unless you're genuinely looking, or something particular happens to truly amplify or draw your attention to the noise. There is the common chatter of the London streets, other horses going by, shouts of women, the occasional muttering of men. You hardly pay attention to it, you have bigger things on your mind. There is a slight, lingering smell of carriage, probably from your driver. It's what he was drinking. It's kind of clinging to him, and you can't help but notice it. Some cheap alcohol, which certainly wasn't provided by you. It smells more like he's been in Soho or maybe Camden. He coughs occasionally, clearing his throat. You hear him spit as the hooves begin to slow. Light intruding into the carriage as the door is open. You see Rebecca join, clambering inside of the carriage, mostly unassisted. It's been a short while since your conversation, tidying up, doing a few effectively bits of business to get out of the way. To your possible disdain, just outside of the carriage, you catch the pearly white grin of Alexander Charnock in the crowd, smiling at you, and giving a somewhat softer look to Rebecca before seeing himself off, literally spinning his cane in his hand as he walks into the crowd. The carriage door closes, swaying the carriage slightly, your sister getting into her seat across from you. The driver waits for instructions of where to go next, giving you and your sister some time in private, with the windows concealed behind curtains.
Rebecca's silvery eyes linger a moment on Charnock as he walks away.
I dare say you've heard enough of what I think of that man. He does surprise me in his actions.
You and Miss Grey both. She turns her head to look at Edmund. How has your evening been, brother?
Well, certainly... not so much eventful, though fulfillingly full. This, I believe, may be the final thing on my to-do list for the evening. I've made it so.
Out of character, how far away are we from the Opera House?
The moment Edmund gives the word to the driver and he begins to drive, you are in a busy part of London right now, not too far away from the Royal Opera House. Though the streets are quite busy even at this late hour, it would probably take 20 minutes.
Okay. I suppose I will get to the point. Earlier this evening I spoke to Mr. Bainbridge, and he's given us instructions on what we are to do in the whole matter. As of right now, when we arrive at the Opera House, we will be speaking to Mr. Alden, seeing what he has found out by his own means, and also sharing some of what I have found out. You will find out soon enough what that is.
Edmund would shut the small window between the carriage and the driver, both trying to cease that smell and also give them a slight more privacy.
A moment before the little dividing window slams shut, he begins, or you cut him off, saying, "Yes, Mr." A moment later, the horse's hooves and the jostle of the carriage begin.
If you would enlighten me on the will of Mr. Bainbridge.
Inevitably, when we have found adequate proof to present, you, along with Mr. Alden, would be approaching Mr. Masters. Naturally, you would express concern, but also a need to present him with the information that we have uncovered in this whole affair, as well as informing him that we are aware of the Setite exploitation, and even to offer assistance with that matter, saying that he would have friends among our clan and that they would have our full support in rooting out the serpents.
Pulling out all the stops of genuineness, I assume.
Of course.
Edmund smiles. My specialty.
Precisely why you will be approaching him, as well as Mr. Alden, given his clan's reputation as information brokers would provide credibility.
And the subtle threat of blackmail.
Rebecca lifts a hand, almost wistfully, but she says, in any case, that he would have friends within the clan, in a manner of speaking. You would also provide information regarding Masters' wayward progeny. On that, I've been able to uncover that Masters' child is Sir Warren, and has become quite cozy with the likes of Ferguson. He is the police commissioner. There is no one that surpasses Charles Warren's authority within the police apart from Masters. He's also a well-known member of the Freemasons.
Childer?
Surprised me as well, although it does make sense.
Yes. Friends close, pawns closer, I understand.
But yes, I will be looking further into it to find any more concrete evidence, specific details which would make Masters concerned, which you may present to him.
Edmund smiles again.
And also you are to suggest that Masters should deal with his child appropriately.
Are these the exact words that I should use? They seem a touch condescending, directed to someone so much higher in station.
You are to use your own words and word it how you see fit. Nothing overt.
Never.
But yes, we are to offer our assistance with these setites, for which Mr. Bainbridge will allow me to borrow one of the gargoyles to aid in these endeavours.
Fascinating. I confess I've not seen one exercise their power before. Do be sure to tell me of the spectacle.
We'll see what happens. You may be able to witness it yourself, or indeed, maybe they will not be used at all.
One hopes.
Also, if you find it credible, you may suggest to Mr. Masters to destroy anything related to the Ripper investigation. Not everything per se, but anything incriminating towards the royal family.
Indeed, if he has thought of it, it at least shows our clan's willing adherence to the prince's laws.
Indeed.
Am I to ask any repayment, direct repayment, from Mr. Masters?
No.
Good. I would not have wished to. Is there anything else, dear sister?
That is all that would be required of you. And should you do well and succeed in this, you would be advanced to the 4th rank and given a single trial, which would benefit you in the coming nights.
You do not, perhaps, have any inkling as to what that may be, this trial?
It is for Mr. Finch and Mr. Bainbridge to inform you on.
Well, given how our order works, I had better prepare, I suppose.
It is always a good thing to be prepared.
Indeed. For that, I suppose we take after father.
She gives a bit of a smile.
Edmund smiles warmly in turn.
Both of you, perception and alertness. Both of you feel a slight shake of the carriage. It jostles beneath you with a strong bounce. But very distinctly and quietly, you can hear underneath the carriage
I would like to enact my heightened senses, to try and hear that having passed it.
Go ahead.
Could I heighten my senses and look through the curtains in the windows?
Yes, you may. Edmund, as you keep out as keen an ear as possible, you can feel a vibration up from your feet and hear distinctly the clack of something very strong, with no doubt very strong claws, climbing along the underside of the carriage. It sounds quite big, though nobody seems to be reacting to whatever it is, even the horses. Rebecca, you get a strange sensation. It's vaguely like that of a chill going up your spine, only it's a bit warmer. Almost like a hot flash rushing up your body. A sense of familiarity, a sense of... You can hear the way it moves, the grasp of its claws. Its sound now vacant. It let you know it was there. This is the gargoyle sent from Bainbridge, fulfilling duty. No doubt if you were to look, it's obfuscated, somehow concealed itself beneath the carriage.
I thought I was to get it tomorrow when I go to the chantry.
I look to Rebecca and raise my eyebrow, questioningly.
Rebecca kind of rubs her temples, eyes closed, shaking her head, and then just waves her hand.
Do you care to enlighten me, sister?
The gargoyle.
Edmund takes a moment looking at Rebecca, then looks to the floor of the carriage, and then back up to Rebecca. The gargoyle.
Indeed. Rebecca looks out of the window and then says, "There is one final matter I do want to bring up. Something we haven't had the chance to speak about yet. I get the feeling you know as well as I what happened at the Swan."
Oh, see, it's been a while. What happened at this one?
You heard your dead wife.
Ah, yes. Edmund takes a moment, considering, before replying. Yes.
Have you looked into it at all?
I have not had the opportunity.
She nods. When was the last time that you spoke to Arthur?
Edmund, his gaze shifting from his sister's eyes down and to the side. I admit, too long. Perhaps. Perhaps the last time we saw our parents together. What was that? Christmas?
Almost a year ago.
Yes. And unfortunately, the boy looks almost as pale as I do. He has been writing to me. But the written word does not hold the weight of a father's speech. He looks back up to Rebecca.
Edmund, something is not right if you heard Patricia. How is that so? Where is she? What is she doing? And it has been too long since you've seen Arthur.
Edmund's eyes... Well, first of all, with my heightened senses still active, I'd like to read my sister's aura.
Knight, what would you say the main color of your aura is, other than it being pale?
Calm? A light blue calm?
Edmund's eyes narrow slightly. Are you... You spoke plainly earlier, sister. Don't stop then. What are you saying?
I'm speaking plainly, Edmund. We have no idea why it is that you heard her, or what has happened. But you know as well as I what happened to her that night and why she ended up in that institution. If for whatever reason she is back, find out what has happened and make sure that our family...
You do not. I appreciate your position in our organization, but you do not need to instruct me on what to do regarding my wife. Though I have not had the chance to act on this information, I have given it a great deal of thought. Do not think that I haven't. Edmund would, having tensed up slightly, involuntarily, leans back again, his back straight against the wall of the carriage. Admittedly, there may be things afoot with Patricia. But Arthur, I know Arthur is not involved in any nefarious dealings that whatever being inhabits her voice may be a part of, no more than the others in the streets.
The carriage suddenly comes to a slight pull, jostling you both lightly back and forth, just enough to make your upper body sway a bit, as you hear the driver knock to let you know that you've arrived.
Edmund would open the driver window. Thank you, my good man.
No problem, Mr. Thorne. Would you like me to wait here for you?
If you please.
I'll lock it down, Mr. Thorne.
I have every confidence.
The driver gives you a slight frown.
I'd like to read his aura. You shouldn't be frowning at that.
Perception and empathy.
That's unfortunate.
You still have your heightened senses. Well, you can tell he is distinctly human. But you realize takes you a minute and kind of reaffirms that you maybe should speak to mortals a bit more often. You realize he was making a joke because he's a luck.
I will open the door and escort my sister out, but before he pulls away or we begin to walk, getting my driver's attention, that was a very clever joke.
He offers you a big, bright smile, showing that, you've... It's wasted on this.
I give him a grin and a wink, and I tap my horsehead cane on the side of the carriage. Then I escort my sister to the theatre.
Opera.
It's a theatre building.